Yo, what's up? Welcome to today's episode. My name is Chris. I'm a creative entrepreneur, and this is the other side of Chris. I don't really show this side much, but I have something I want to share with you because it's ironic. I think it's funny, and even in like I don't know, I'm probably the third time through this lesson. Maybe you guys can relate to this too because the old me used to get so frustrated and so angry and just like, why is the world against me? And I feel like it's all just been a test to like essentially let go and just like, which is what I feel like I'm doing a great job of now, right? Which is so funny. And it was nice to, I'll give you guys a series of events and see if you can relate, but it was just funny to see them show up. And I was just kind of in this like, in a positive, like, I don't give a shit attitude, just like, and I started laughing at them and I was like, oh man, maybe laughing at it will help it in because it's just been funny things. So for number one, and I think this is a resilient lesson. So if you're going through resilience, like you're not alone, and it's definitely very present in my reality. But it's been kind of funny. So the first thing that happened was earlier this year, on right before New Year's, I ended up landing a pretty big project, and I was excited for it. And I was like, dude, we're gonna start 2025 off hot. This is gonna be dope. Like I'm stoked. Let's go. Like just excited, and I'm even hiring somebody for this job, and somebody who I think is more talented than me and is a better editor, and I'm allowing myself to second shoot and do like the drone work. Do go back to like the creative fun stuff that I love to do and take some of the pressure off and let people who are really good do their stuff. So I was like, let's get this in motion. Like 2025, we're kicking some butt. And then this massive snowstorm comes in here, and this is an outside job. It's for like a customs, structure construction company, a custom home build. I couldn't think of the words. Where's my mouth? But where are my words? Where's my mouth? Where's my words? But essentially, it's a custom home build. So they needed to dig the foundation and then lay some concrete so they could, put up the metal or the lumber, the metal, and then the siding. And of course, we got like a foot of snow under about 3 inches of ice, and I was like, all right, well, I guess it's time to rest. So I really dove into resting, which was really nice. And then I was being patient and just like eager, but just like still taking my time and doing other stuff. I've been sharpening my YouTube skills and talking to camera and storytelling and my brand weekender and everything. But oh man, I was getting stoked again, and then it essentially said like at the end of the month, right? In January, and I was like, cool. So I circled back a week ago, and then they're like, yeah, they're not digging out the foundation until the end of next month. And I'm like, dang it. And then because they were going to start, the foundation and stuff, and ironically, it's just snowed again, and I was like, shit, we ain't gonna be doing that job till April, which I'm cool with because the weather will be nicer, everything will be greener. So I was like, oh, it'll probably be a better production anyways. But I was like so excited for a hot start to this year, and then I was like, all right, well, everything comes in threes, so I'm curious what else happens. So this is where the story gets good. So then I joined this online community, and it's called Unplugged, and we're doing this 30-day dopamine detox challenge. And I was like, man, this happened last year. Like I started doing like this group, like working on yourself around the beginning of the year in a group, and I was like, I'm seeing another theme here. And I was like, well, this one seems more structured and fun, and it's been awesome. I've absolutely loved this group Unplugged. But 2 days ago, we started the dopamine detox challenge, and this is where shit gets funny. Is so we started, and where was I getting at with this? Oh, so like the rules are like, no streaming, no TV, no movies, no coffee unless you're working, no music unless you're working. When you're driving, like doing one thing at a time, essentially, right? Um, and so the other day, I get done with work. I killed the day. I had some energy. I get out of the sauna, hit the cold plunge, and I was like, dang, I need to go get some food because it's supposed to snow. So, well, actually, I was like, I need to go get some dinner because I don't have any food and it's about to snow. And then I get to the grocery store, and I swear to God, it looks like a goddamn Super Bowl party at the grocery store, at a grocery store that typically isn't busy. And I'm like, what's going on? And and this is the other rule that we have is like you can't like pull out your phone while you're waiting in line, and you'll see where this comes in. So we're so I go and I get some meat, and as I get a pound of beef, and I'm like, man, why is there a line by the milk thing? Like, God, milk must be the next thing, because eggs was last week, milk's this week. And I'm just oblivious. And then I go and get some, like, seasoning for my tacos and an onion and some other shit. And I go check out, and then I realized, I was like, oh God, that's the line for the register. And I was just like, well, son of a gun. So I go and stand in line, and I was like, oh, this thing it won't take long. And the whole time, too, my intuition was pinging me and was like, you go check the other line. And I was like, I feel like the line's just going to go up there and it's going to split to like self-checkout and wait in the line. And either we'll get to that part of the story, it gets even better. But essentially, wait in line, make some friends. I'm just having a good old time. But the funny thing is, I stood in line for about 40 minutes and I couldn't use my phone. And I'm holding stuff, and my phone's just vibrating like text after text after text. And I'm just sitting there like, oh man, this is definitely a test. This is definitely my soul getting tested. And I was like, nah, I'm not gonna fail this test. I was like, I don't need to check my phone, but like, it was so funny. Every time it pinged, I wanted to check it just a little bit more. And then I was like, no, we're good. And then my intuition kept pinging me. I was like, go check the other line. Like, the self-checkout line's gonna be shorter. So then we get around the corner, probably after like waiting 40 minutes to get around this corner, and I could finally see the register, and it's still like a mile away. And then this guy just walks past me with a basket, just goes on up, and then bam, he just pops it on down, and I'm like, oh shit, that's the self-checkout line. I was like, oh, I should have trusted myself, and I didn't. But as soon as I saw him up there, I looked at the ladies behind me, and I said, I think that's the self-checkout line. I'm going to go on an adventure. You guys have a good day, or good night. And they're like, well, you have fun. And then it was so funny. I checked out way before them, but I just thought it was funny that magically, when I can only do one thing at a time, normally I'd be on my phone just like hammering away, like looking at whatever, the YouTube videos, astrology, business stuff, Instagram, YouTube stats, or whatever. I'd just be like killing time in the line. And it was actually really nice to stand in line and relax when that happened. But I thought it was ironic that I just started this challenge, and that's one of the rules for the next 30 days. And I was just like, and there it was. Because I kind of saw this thing too, like back when I was a nurse, we'd be learning about the most rare condition in the world. I swear to God, my patient every week would have it. And it was so nice because I'd just be like, I'd learn about it. I'd get the practicality of it in clinicals, and I would essentially see the patient. And by the time I took the test, I'd be like, oh, this is cake. Kind of same thing, right? Like, we're learning how to do this dopamine detox. We're learning how to change our ways and not be so stimulated. And I got a lesson. I got a test right away. But the test didn't stop there. Another thing that we do for this, 30-day dopamine detox is we put our feet on the earth first thing in the morning. So first thing in the morning, I wake up, I don't look at my phone, and I just put on my hoodie and my coat, and I go outside and I put my feet on the earth and I walk around for a couple minutes. Well, today had a surprise. It wasn't supposed to snow until later, but, I woke up this morning and I looked outside, and my first words were, you gotta be fucking kidding me. And then I said, this is going to be interesting. So after in the morning, I'm not a very awake person. Like, I take about, I'd say at least 15 minutes to like turn on the old brain. It's a little slower than other brains in the morning, but man, when it speeds up, it speeds up. But so I'm like standing in my closet, and I'm trying to decide what to even put on. And I'm just like, what am I doing? And I was like, I think I'm procrastinating putting my feet in the snow. And I'm just sitting there like, nah, this can't be it. And I'm like, yeah, no, maybe that's it. And then eventually, ended up, I was like, you know what, I'm going to put on a thermal shirt because it's going to be cold as shit outside. And I wasn't wrong. And then I ended up, getting on the hoodie and, my jacket and sweats. And then I was putting on socks, and then I was like, well, what are you doing? You got to go put your feet on the earth. I think my brain was in between, is it cold as fuck outside? And I hate being cold. And then I was like, we're going to get warm to go outside. And then I was like, you got to put your feet on the earth. That's the whole purpose. Why are you putting on socks and shoes? And then and I think the funniest part, too, is I walked outside with somebody, and they were like, why is this guy in Hey Dudes? So as you guessed, I essentially walked outside, and I'm in some Hey Dudes, sweat, hoodie, a jacket, just bundled up. Just man, this sucks a little bit. But I'm leaning into it. I'm like, this might be good. And then, I took that first step outside, stepped in some deep snow, and it got inside my hay dudes, and my feet were like, and I'm over here like, oh shit, this is gonna be an adventure. Like I cold plunge, but I don't put my feet in the snow on purpose. But today I was, and I kid you not, I walk across the street. There was snow in my shoes, my hay dudes, my feet are already wet and cold. I kick off my hay dudes and I'm like, let's fucking start this rodeo. And so I step on the ground and I'm counting to 1 second, and every step is a second, and I'm like 1, 2, woo! And I'm like, oh damn, I think I just got a frostbite. I swear to God, I hit about 10 seconds and I was like, wow, this has been fun, but I'm gonna put my shoes back on. And when I did, I realized I had just done something really hard that I didn't think I would ever do. And that was the most rewarding feeling ever. I cannot tell you that. Like, it was just like, I initially, as soon as I put back on my head, dude, you know what I did? I was like, shit, let's go do it again. That was kind of fun. And then I was kind of like, wow, this is like cold plunging for your feet. And it's ironic, the bottom of my feet have been kind of tight, like the plantar fascia. I busted my ankle in Bali, like running down a waterfall, or running down a waterfall, just straight. And it caused I think my feet, based on how I was limping, it kind of made my muscles a little tighter because they're not stretching as much. I swear to God, that snow made it feel so much better. And then I was kind of like, man, it's just like cold plunging is what I was getting at with that. It's like when I cold plunge, my body feels great. Next day, I feel a little drained sometimes, like today. Cold plunge yesterday, just to prep for the foot plunge today. The ice cold, walking on snow, ground and wake up with just ground into the earth and the snow. I don't know, whatever kind of marketing video I could create for that. But I just thought that was a wild experience. But where I'm getting at with all this is kind of like the irony of it all. I think is just like when you think about it, like to the degree of like school, like when I was learning something, I would be shown it in clinical so that when I was tested, I was able to pass with flying colors, right? Or it was easier to retain and remember. I swear to God, this is a theme throughout my entire life, and maybe you can relate to it, but as soon as I started this 30-day dopamine detox challenge, like, I'm getting calls while I'm driving in the car and I can't answer them. I go to the grocery store to get 4 items just to make dinner for the night, and there's a line half a mile long or 2 miles long up and down these hills, and I'm like, what's going on here? And my phone's just like, and I'm like, I'm not going to answer it. And then I was also just getting tired of holding my food because there were no baskets because everybody had them. There were that many people at the grocery store. Oh my gosh, if Costco ever has that issue, we're all SOL. And what was the other one? Oh yeah, and then trying to get the year off hot with like starting my business and really hitting the year hard. And it's honestly been a really slow year, but been landing stuff. But which just means I'm just like I said, I'm just resting. But it's so funny how I'm like learning like patience and resilience, and none of this shit made me mad. That's what I'm so proud of myself for. And if you've been through this too, you should be too, because like normally I'd be angry, I'd be resentful, I would be, and not like just like throwing a temper tantrum or anything. Like I stuff it down on the inside a lot, and I would just be like, oh God, like F this, screw that, like this is bullshit, like there's some conspiracy against me or whatever the victim mentality is, right? Like, I used to have a pretty good victim mentality. I think I learned it from my dad. I don't know. But it was just this like, it's just realization these last couple days. I kind of saw it all come together. I was thinking about it today in the sauna, and then I didn't even plan on filming this video, and I kicked off and I looked over at my camera and I was like, dang, this might be a cool new series to start. Like the other side of Chris, the other part of the entrepreneur, right? Like, I love to do those marketing videos and the talk to camera, and I love creating sizzles and edits. But honestly, like these talk to cameras are so nice because I almost feel like YouTube's like my therapist. Like the people listening to these videos and watching them, like they make me feel seen, they make me feel heard. But even in doing this, I'm like, man, I feel like I'm like really integrating the lessons and the stuff that I'm learning, and I'm able to like truly understand it and see it. And if, like I say in my other videos, if I'm able to teach it and share it and really concisely pull the story together, I got a pretty good idea of, what the story is, or like what the idea is, what the theme is. And I think that's important. And that's what I even say on my other channel too. Like, people should start channels like these. Like, these are fun. Like, you just get to relax. You get to vent. You get to talk to the camera like it's your therapist. But on the other side of that camera is a person with the same problem who's, oh, excuse me, that must be a confirmation burp, but it's a person on the other side with the same problem who's like probably dealing with the same shit, and they might not be as aware of it, or they might be aware of it. And then in seeing this video, it's association by proxy. We're all able to learn and validate one another. Not that we're all looking for validation, but by seeing a video that talks about this stuff, you're like, dude, I can completely relate. I've been through the same shit. Like, what's going on? I thought it was just me. Don't worry, it's us. It's us. We're in the same school here. We're in the same course in Earth School, and we're getting the same lesson, but we're both passing it. Not only that, we're both going to excel and grow so much from this process. And that's been the theme of this resilience and these lessons and these challenges and this stuff popping up. Is just like, the old me would have looked at it as like, why is this happening? Like, the victim mentality. But now I look at it as like a challenge. Like, how can I rise to this? Like, what one thing can I do in this moment that is going to propel me forward and excel me past all this bullshit or whatever the fuck, this stuff is. And you know what it is? It's positivity. It's gratitude. It's being able to laugh at it, like authentically laugh at it and just like see that line and be like, oh God, what is going on? Like, and it's so healing, I think. It's just like allows you to like stop taking life so seriously, like stop being so hard on yourself. Just like allow yourself to be what you are, be who you are, just experience life, live, stop taking your shit so serious and just like positively approach everything. And I don't mean like spiritually bypass and be like, oh no, things will work out for me. I did that one too. God damn. I was a spiritual bypassing machine, but it was also like, I think it was toxic positivity, but it was like kind of some conditioning that I had, or I think I used humor to bypass all the problems. And I've had a lot of problems in life. I've been through a lot of shit, but I think it's really molded my character. But I'm to a part in the journey, and like, you probably are too, where you're just in this stage of like truly accepting who you are, forgiving yourself for all the shit that you've been through, because you didn't choose it. You did before you came down to here, or wherever we're at, or whatever the simulation is. But it's like you chose this path and you walked it, but you didn't choose all those problems. And even though people might be giving you shit for the choices that you made, like when you're, say for instance, you're playing like Texas Hold'em and there's all kings on the table and you're on your last dollars and you got a pair of twos, you gotta hope for some more twos to show up or something. But you ain't got the cards, but you're making the best decisions you can with the cards you got in your hand, That's how I feel like a lot of, like my first 33 has been a lot of just making the best decision I can from having very minimal resources, which is like, this whole resourcefulness, resilience, perseverance, ironically, was my favorite word. I learned it one day growing up. I feel like that's been a big part of my life thus far. And I really see the value in it too, because I'm like, there's a challenge, and instead of being like, oh no, I'm going to turn around, I sometimes look at it and I'm like, it's like yoga. I take a deep breath and then I'm like, all right, let's go. The hill's not going to get any smaller. According to, what I know about geography or rocks and plate tectonics, the mountains are always getting bigger, not smaller. So, well, let's go. But yeah, I don't know. It's been a wild ride. It's been a wild year. It's been a wild journey, but I kind of feel like everything's starting to ease. And I think like I said, it was like understanding that everything's a challenge. It's meant to make me better. So in approaching it with that mentality, looking at it that way, and essentially just like approaching life in general like that, right? Like, we don't gotta take it so serious. I think that's something that was like conditioned on me, maybe you too, but essentially just like allowing the ebbs and flow. I think my favorite word is woo-wee, that, like let go, let the energy flow, like do your thing. Like, I think the more you let go, the more the energy flows at a point. Like, there's still parts in life where you gotta go through shit. You gotta go through lessons. And if you haven't gone through them, they're around the corner. They're coming to you, like, it's kind of like the Diddy shit. Like, Diddy lived the dream and now he's going through the shit, right? Like, everybody has their time. Everybody has their place. I feel like mine, maybe yours too, were on the first, like, part of my life. It feels like it's just been lesson after 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 lesson. And I'm like, holy shit, when's this end? But I'm also like, I don't think it's ever going to end, but I think we're getting better at navigating them, finding quicker solutions. And not only that, like, you know, the clients I work with in like video production and media and marketing and all that stuff I do, like, dude, like, it's almost like I want to build a brand called like Ask Chris, like, just like, but you know, there's Gemini and all that stuff and like ChatGPT, but essentially, like, I feel like there's no problem I don't have a solution to because I've seen them all. It's just whether I have the resources to bring the solution to life. And if I don't have the resources, that's what I've been learning lately with like lack of resources. It's just like, you know, it's not the who or it's not the how, it's the who, you know, there's the who, not the how. Focus on the people around you instead of like manipulating them, or not in a sense of like manipulating them and using them. But when you have a problem, who can you ask for help? Who is that person? If it's business, like, you know, who is that mentor? Who can help you get to the next stage in life? Like, who can help you through your problems if you're having a lot of emotional shit come up? Like, who can you call? Who can you lean on in your time of need? Who's going to return a favor if you give a favor? Like, that's such a good video. I could do a whole damn video on that topic. But anyways, yeah, I feel complete. I think that's a good end to it. It's like, start looking for the who's, not the how's, and stop approaching every problem in life and the victim, but approach it with a challenge, with like building a new skill, getting that resilience, getting that extra energy. Like, yeah, it's happening for a reason. I hate that saying as much as it happens to me, but it's happening for a reason, and it's only going to make you a better person. So the more you can lean into it, the sooner you'll be through it, and the sooner you're through it, the happier you'll be with the more skills and everything in life that is for you is waiting there at the finish line. So go get it. Have a good day, guys. Peace out.